Welcome back. I got some green. You know, it's not easy being green. People always wonder why. Like, what's so hard about being a frog? Being a frog has never been an easy job. There's all these things trying to eat you all the time. And you're just hanging out, you're just frogging. Maybe you're trying to cross the road. Maybe you're trying to be a frog sitting on a log. Maybe you got a dog. Maybe you're lost in the fog. Deep in a bog. I'll stop now. But whatever you might be, if you're green, and it's not easy being green, remember that you can always paint over it. It's no big deal, really. Take the edge, smooth it right out, just like that. And then you end up with something really pretty. And we're just gonna do a little blending here. I like to just kind of give it a little blend like that. All right, thanks for joining me, guys. We're gonna take a quick little pause here. Boop. And now we're going to continue on. So that's all we need of the green for now. So we're going to go grab black. Well, pardon me. I am unfortunately dying of COVID at the moment. Ideally not soon, but like I will probably die someday. Probably. Now we're going to switch over to black. This is paint that I got off of Amazon. Nothing special, just some stuff. Remember to give it a little bit of a shake and then boop, right down on the plate. Now for this stuff, I'm going to switch over to a smaller brush. A little bit like this. Oh, label out, guys. Remember, label out. Fancy. I like to wet my brush just a little bit first, just to give it a little bit of wetness. I don't really know anything about painting, or I would tell you why wetting my brush is good. Oh, you know what? Why don't we turn the light on? Haha. Now, so what I'm going to do here, load up my brush, a nice amount of black paint here, and I'm going to try to paint this tree in one smooth stroke, because it grew that way. Does that make sense? And it grew right about here. Right about like that. Right about like that. So this tree to me, this representation of this tree, it represents the fact that quite a few of the young people that I lived with in Buena Vista Park back in the day, they're dead now. And no, I'm not a serial killer, unfortunately. Most of them have died of drug overdoses or making horrible, horrible decisions. Not too long ago, one of our little crew, Turtle, he was shot in the head down in LA. So in the American traveler culture, there's a mimetic complex, you might call it. We help people. We're heroes. You may have seen a news story a long time ago about a man with a hatchet. Looked like a weird hobo guy. He's one of us. He was a member. Or maybe you have a friend of an older brother. He used to ride freight trains. Or your cousin that used to hitchhike around playing music. Wears a coat with a possum on it now. People like that. We're everywhere. We drive your ambulances. We paint your paintings. We fight your battles. But for some reason, we never get any respect. So, we become young men like poor Turtle, driven towards extrajudicial heroism, until some fool takes out a gun and shoots us in our head. Turtle died in a dog park, and people were real sad. His parents did a nice little turn on the news, talking about how much they'd miss him and what a precocious and fascinating soul he was, drifting around the world at his leisure. No acknowledgement, of course, of their own failures as parents, why a young man would want to go hop on freight trains and risk his life day after day after day for nothing until it finally killed him. Just to get another chance to beg for a little bit of money from the internet. And that's okay. We're all beggars here. No judgments. But I must say, Laredo, Texas is a darker place now. There was another young man named Turtle on Haight Street around that time. He was a young black man. And he and I had a lot in common. when I met Turtle, it was on the stairs at Buena Vista Park. He woke up from his sleeping bag and he stepped out barefoot across glass broken on the ground there. He didn't react. He just walked across it and asked me if I had a cigarette. I gave him one and asked him who he was and where he was from. He told me that he was underage. He was a runaway from the foster care system, a story I'd heard too many times before. I asked him if his feet were okay, and he said he didn't give a fuck. I have a feeling that if that turtle isn't dead as well already, it probably won't be too awful long. So here's one for all the turtles. Rest in peace, brothers. Thank you all for joining me. Have a nice day.